You're 10 years old. You're holding a rock. In front of you, a window. One future, shattered glass, consequences, your parents' voices rising. Another future, nothing. A moment passes. The rock remains in your hand. You paused. You chose not to throw. Did you really choose? Or was the pause just another domino in a chain that started long before you? This isn't just a childhood memory, it's a philosophical war zone. This is the battlefield of free will and determinism. Across history, three great armies take the field. Team free will, they say we are sovereign, that we are not just reacting, but creating ourselves. Team determinism, they see the universe as a clockwork beast. Every gear turns because another did before. Team compatibilism, the diplomats, they claim freedom and causality are not enemies, but misunderstood friends. Their generals? Legends. Team free will. The sovereigns of choice step forward. Socrates, although he never used the words free will, argued that wrongdoing stems from ignorance. If we know what is right, we will choose it, which means we can choose. No man does wrong willingly, he said. Descartes, the rationalist. He believed consciousness was the core of being. He said, I think, therefore I am. The mind is not machinery, it initiates. Kierkegaard, the paradox priest. He believed in choosing faith not because it's rational, but because it's not. Freedom to him was the leap itself. Jean-Paul Sartre, post-war existentialist, defiant and doer. He saw freedom not as privilege but burden. He said, man is condemned to be free. You are not a puppet, but the strings? They were never there to begin with. Team determinism, the architects of necessity, come next. Democritus, one of the first atomists, believed all that exists is particles in motion, including you. He said, nothing exists except atoms and empty space. Everything else is opinion. Spinoza, the serene monist. For him, God is nature, and nature operates by necessity. He said, the stone thinks it flies, but it is thrown. Leibniz, the rational mystic, held that behind every moment lies a hidden harmony. What happens must happen, not by chance, but by design. Schopenhauer, wearing pessimism like armor. He believed the will itself is not free. He said, you can do what you will, but you cannot will what you will. Team compatibilism, the diplomats of paradox step forward. Aristotle draws an early distinction, voluntary versus involuntary. You act according to your character. And if your character and intention guides you, not force or ignorance, isn't that choice? David Hume, the charming skeptic. He questioned causality itself but found freedom in patterns. He said, just because the sun has risen every day doesn't mean it must rise. But habit? That makes us human. Leibniz appears again but sits on the fence. If God knows your choice before you choose, is it still free? He says yes, but the script was written. Immanuel Kant, the moral architect. For him, freedom was not in proof, but in duty. He said, we must act as if we are free. Because without that, morality collapses. Back to the child. Back to the window. Was he free? Team free will says, the pause was the choice. That single moment of restraint, that was the soul. Team determinism says, the weight of the rock, the neurons firing, the parental tone you grew up with, all calculated the pause. You were never free. Team compatibilism says, maybe your whole life led to this pause, but it was you who paused, because of who you are, because of how you learned, and that's enough. And here's the paradox. We feel free when we choose, when we resist, when we regret, but we also feel caused by our habits, our past, our pain. We are puppets who flinch when the strings are named. Architects who build on foundations we didn't choose. The war between free will and determinism isn't out there. It's inside us. Every time we say, I had no choice, and yet, I should have known better. If free will wins, you are responsible. Guilt matters. So does redemption. You are your actions. Your sins, your triumphs, they are yours. Life becomes a work of art, terrifying and magnificent. Risk becomes glory. If determinism wins, no one deserves blame or credit. Pity replaces punishment. The self is a spectator, not a player. Choice is an illusion. Decisions are dominoes tipped by biology and history. Forgiveness becomes redundant. So does pride. Justice turns from judgment into diagnosis. If compatibilism wins, you steer within currents. You are shaped but not shackled. Responsibility survives, not because you are uncaused, but because you are responsive. Freedom is not a blank slate, but a well-steered ship. The moral universe survives, barely, not by denying causality, but by embracing complexity. You're no longer 10. You're older, wiser, maybe more afraid. You hold the rock again, but this time, you drop it not in rebellion, not in panic. You place it gently on the ground. Maybe the rock was never the point. Maybe the pause was the only real freedom we ever get. Even if the universe is scripted, the delivery is still yours. Which side are you on? Free will, determinism, or the bridge between? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more philosophical comparison. Unless, of course, you were always going to.